Let's go. If I know what I want, then I know what I get. If I go, they come with, cause they know I get lit. I'm a pro, not a myth, and my flow got some wit. Never slow, drink a fit. I get hype, I get lit. Here I go, I get lit. Here I go, I get lit. Here I go, I get lit. I get hype for this shit. Here I go, I get lit. Here I go, I get lit. Here I go, I get lit. I get hype for this shit. That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, happy Sunday. A lot of things happening today. We are a couple of hours away from probably one of the most epic pay-per-views we're going to have already in 2021. For those of you watching right now, happy Valentine's Day to all those beautiful couples out there. If you are single, happy Singles Awareness Day. And remember that you'll have 50% off on all those good candies tomorrow. 50% off everywhere, might I add. Welcome to the Angles WWE NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day pre-show / prediction shows. This show where I'm going to be going over all the matches, all the things that I think are going to be happening, give a unique perspective, an expert analysis, might I add, for myself. Perspectives all the way around to kind of give you the best insight going into tonight's pay-per-view. A lot of stacked matches on this card. I'm excited to talk about it. And we might as well just jump into it right now. By the way, kudos to NXT and WWE bringing back one of my favorite WWE pay-per-views, Vengeance. Adding a little twist for the Valentine's Day sake, Vengeance Day. WWE bringing back Vengeance as Vengeance Day for NXT. Another swerve WWE is throwing our way with giving NXT one of these awesome pay-per-views. A very classic event. A lot of great matches in the history of WWE have happened at Vengeance, so I'm glad to see that back. But we're going to talk about now all the matches going down tonight, and I'm going to start with one in particular, and that is a match that everybody has their eyes on, and that is the finals for the first ever women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Now, it was sprung on kind of last minute, if you ask me, the women's tournament. It was announced during, I believe, the men's tournament a few weeks ago. Started the tournament. It went 2 or 3 weeks or so. And tonight we have the finals. That match is between Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Probably the favorites going into this whole tournament. Taking on the team of Ember and Shotzi Blackheart, another up-and-coming team. We don't know if they're for sure a team going forward, but for this pay-per-view, for this tournament, they are a team, and might I add, a team that has a lot going for them if they do decide to stay a tag team. Now, it was announced this week on NXT by William Regal that the winners of this match, and it wasn't announced before that, and we kind of predicted, or at least I thought, I tweeted out they should be having this ending, sort of say, but the winners of this match are going to receive a future WWE Women's Tag Team Titles match whenever. A lot of people are predicting that will happen most likely at WrestleMania to tie in NXT talent to WrestleMania. But before we get into all that, let's talk about the match itself. The finals for the Women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, Ember Shotzi Blackheart. This match has classic written all over it, and I think that's the theme for tonight. We're going with a classic style pay-per-view, and all these matches are among that umbrella, sort of say, classic. This match, I'm predicting that we're going to see a huge showing from Raquel Gonzalez. She has been on a war path ever since War Games, really. She defeated the women's champion, the NXT women's champion, Io Shirai, to win that match for her team. And since then, she's just been unstoppable force, putting down Rhea Ripley, putting down everybody put in her path. So I have to say that I do believe the winners of this match will be Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai. Why? I've been saying it for weeks now. Every week we watch NXT. Every week we watch Monday Night Raw or SmackDown. The women's tag team division is lacking star power. It's lacking true tag teams, where we don't really see that at all across the board for WWE right now. But they seem to put the tag titles on teams where they see a storyline going, where they can brew something. For example, you put the tag titles on Charlotte Flair and Asuka. That can lead, or everyone's thinking it's going to lead to a turn and then a match for that Raw Women's title. So a lot of people are just kind of giving up or losing faith in the women's tag team division. But I think if a win tonight for Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez, earning them a shot at the tag team titles, there is hope for this division. There is hope for those women's tag team titles. So that's why I'm predicting tonight the winners of the final of the tournament for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, the women's edition, will be Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. Now, turning things over to a title match, we have the North American Championship. Johnny Gargano, leader of the Way, putting on probably one of his best comedic performances we've ever seen last week on NXT. In a wheelchair, can't walk. He has his arm broken. Very, very funny. I actually tweeted out during that segment that might as well hand the title to Candice LeRae because she kept going despite having a broken wrist after War Games this past year. So Johnny Gargano really just making himself look not so much that things are going to go his way tonight. No pun intended there, by the way, being the way. But besides the point, we have the North American Championship on the line tonight. Johnny Gargano will be defending his title against Kushida, a match that has been brewing for weeks. We've seen everybody and their mothers involved in this storyline. It's coming to fruition tonight. Gargano, Kushida. I'm going to tell you right now, Kushida is one of the best talents I think NXT has today. Is he booked the best way possible? No. Is there room for him to be booked possibly better on the show? Absolutely. But tonight, without a shadow of a doubt, and I will get into why, I'm going to predict 100% Johnny Gargano retains the North American Championship. Not only the fact that he has the Way by his side, not only that he has Indy Hartwell, his wife Candice LeRae, and Austin Theory by his side, but I do think that there is bigger plans for Gargano for the North American Championship. Kushida is just, as good as he is a stepping stone right now to get to that bigger plan. And that bigger plan, ladies and gentlemen, is for the person that we've been seeing involved in this storyline, and that is Dexter Lumis. I think tonight we're going to see Johnny Gargano successfully defend his North American Championship against Kushida to lead to a story with Dexter Lumis. And Dexter Lumis will be the one to take the title off of Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano is a legend in NXT. One of the best NXT superstars of all time. He is the first ever, not one, not two, but three-time North American champion in NXT. So I think by letting him compete against Dexter Lumis, by the way, going against all these young, new talent in NXT, putting them over, not necessarily letting them win, but that's the thing in NXT, or in today's pro wrestling. You don't have to put someone over by letting them win. It's just it's a matter of the match that you put on with them. Kushida and Gargano are going to put on a fantastic match. Kushida can lose and still get over. And that's why I think tonight Gargano is going to retain his title, go on to bigger things, and that is Dexter Lumis. He's going to get Dexter Lumis over just with his comedic relief and all these things that we see happening between the two on NXT. Dexter Lumis will be our future or our next NXT North American champion. Over to the tag team division things. We're going to be talking about right now the finals for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. For the men's side, we have a new bright team in NXT, MSK, formerly known as the Rascals. Elsewhere, you probably know them from Impact Wrestling as the Rascals with Trey Miguel. But now in NXT, they are MSK, and they are going against probably one of the most cutthroat, hard-hitting, aggressive tag teams we have in all of WWE today. A true tag team, and a team that I believe we can all get behind going into the future of tag team wrestling. That is the Grizzled Young Veterans. Might I add, before we talk about this match, a lot of great talent coming in from NXT UK. We see, look at the card tonight. We have Pete Dunne coming from NXT UK. We have Toni Storm coming in from NXT UK. Grizzled Young Veterans coming in from NXT UK. A lot of great talent coming from NXT UK over to help build the brand of NXT. We have tonight, like I said, Grizzled Young Veterans going against MSK. Last year, the men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Finals, Grizzled Young Veterans were in that match. They did not become successful in that first attempt. Tonight, I think they're going to have a different outcome. I think tonight we're going to see the Grizzled Young Veterans take a win over MSK, getting themselves on the trophy, the Dusty Rhodes Cup trophy, and earning themselves a shot or a future shot at the NXT Tag Team titles. I think this is one of the best teams that we have in WWE today. Excuse me right here. My lighting is just changing very weirdly. So Grizzled Young Veterans, one of the best teams we have in WWE today. I think they are going to take the win over MSK tonight. MSK really being on a roll. We know, and it's funny because if you know the NXT brand, at least as well as I think I do, all these interactions with Triple H on social media or pictures kind of makes you believe these are Triple H's guys. And when you're a Triple H's guy, you typically move up the ranks. It's not politics. It's just talent that he believes in. And since he's in charge of NXT, I think MSK has a bright future ahead of them. I think letting them go as far as they have in this tournament is a great way to get them over, a great way for the fans to know who they are, learn who they are, and reintroduce them as a great tag team as MSK in NXT. But I think tonight we're going to have to go with the experience, a team that's been there longer, a team that has been in this position before. I think tonight we're going to see the Grizzled Young Veterans take the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Cup in the finals of the men's Dusty Rhodes, like I said, Tag Team Classic. We're going to turn things over now to the triple threat match for the women's NXT Women's Championship. This is probably one of the matches I'm looking forward to most because this has such unique and different talent. We have on one side a former NXT UK Women's Champion, Toni Storm. We have Mercedes Martinez, who has recently just come back to NXT. Really not getting a fair shot her first time around, going to Monday Night Raw, being involved in Retribution, and basically just being written off and never to return. She's back in NXT as the true Mercedes Martinez, as she says. And then we have the NXT Women's Champion, and right, dead center in the middle, Io Shirai. This woman has been on a war path since coming to NXT, transitioning herself into who she is today, and that is the NXT Women's Champion. A triple threat match for this title, a match that I think that will quite possibly can and probably will steal the show. And I say that about all the matches we have in this card because just all the matches are that good. This triple threat match, NXT Women's Championship match, all three women really have experience being in this type of position. Mercedes Martinez, not so much. First attempt for the NXT Women's Championship. And I think something really significant about this match is that they weren't necessarily involved this last week on NXT TV on the USA Network. We saw just vignettes for each of those women. And by the way, NXT doing such a great job with their vignettes, getting superstars over who are not even there. I learned so much about Toni Storm by watching her 30-second, 40-second vignette on NXT this week. I learned so much about Mercedes Martinez about watching that vignette about her. And then Io Shirai as well. We do know her already, but there's always more to learn, and I think that we got that from this week's vignettes. They weren't on the show. Like I said, no one was in matches, but they played those vignettes, they got them over, and they promoted this match so well. And again, I think it's going to be one of the show stealers of the entire night. I don't think Io Shirai is at the point in her title run that she is done with that title. Is Toni Storm a great pick to hold that title? Absolutely. Is Mercedes Martinez a great pick to win that title? Down the line, most likely. At the moment, I don't think she is. But there's room and there's possibility. And I can kind of see her being a very similar character. Maybe not a submission expert like who I'm about to talk about, but I can see her having sort of a similar run to Shayna Baszler in NXT. I know that's going to piss some people off, but she can just have a very similar run, a dominant run. She could be a badass of the NXT women's division. Now, if you look at the roster right now, the NXT women's roster, there's a lot of great picks who I think that can be the next women's champion and take that title off of Io Shirai. One being someone who I talked about earlier in this show. I think Raquel Gonzalez can be the one to defeat Io Shirai for that women's title, as she did, maybe foreshadowing at War Games this year, going defeating her in that pay-per-view, getting a huge win for that her team. No one expecting her to get that win. Maybe she can be the one to dethrone Io Shirai. There's a lot of great talent on the NXT Women's roster. Candice LeRae, another great pick. We see Johnny Gargano in with the way right now being elevating the North American Championship. If he loses that title down the road to Dexter Lumis, maybe we can see Candice LeRae pick up that title, despite her having numerous attempts already for that title. So with that being said, I mean, you kind of know where my prediction is going with this match. I think tonight we're going to see Io Shirai successfully defend her NXT Women's Championship. Now, before I go any further, I want to make sure that there's matches that I am not missing on this card. I think there's only about 5 matches. We have both the finals for the Dusty Rhodes Men's and Women's Tag Team Classic. We have the NXT North American Championship. We have the Women's Championship, and we have the main event tonight, which has a lot of big implications that are not really being spoken about. But the main event for tonight is the NXT Heavyweight Championship. The champion, one of the longest reigns thus far, Finn Balor, defending against the Bruiserweight Pete Dunne, who has had a revelation over the last few months, being a tag team champion with Riddle, as the Bruiserweights, having fun. Now just being a straight up badass who will rip your hands in half or your fingers in half and take whatever he wants from you, looking in the best shape of his entire career that I've been a fan of him. 2 competitors that are going to put on hell of a main event. We thought that Kyle O'Reilly's matches with Finn Balor were fantastic, which they were. Match of the year, hands down, which they were. They had those awards. I think this match between Finn Balor and Pete Dunne has the capability to be better than those matches. These two have such a unique but also similar style in the ring, and I think that's going to mesh so well. It's a match that we haven't had yet, that we've been waiting for, desperately waiting for. Not only this match, but to see Pete Dunne in a main event, in a championship match, a singles championship, being one of the most dominant NXT UK champions we've had, Pete Dunne. I think it's time that we see him in the hot seat and go to the top of the mountain of NXT. We've been waiting for it, like I said, for a long, long time. The main event, NXT Championship tonight. Finn Balor defends against Pete Dunne. A lot of things that people are not really talking about that I think it was really brushed off of, and that is the winner of the 2021 Men's Royal Rumble match, the Rated R Superstar, from number 1 to the 1, Edge, the WWE Hall of Famer who won this year's Royal Rumble match, said he may be choosing Finn Balor for his WrestleMania main event shot. We don't know if Edge is going to be in attendance. He said he's going to be watching very closely when he was on NXT a few weeks ago. It kind of indicated that he'd be at the pay-per-view to watch the match. I'm not sure if that will happen or not. I think they don't want to spoil anything. Or actually, it might even work in their favor. They might tease that he's choosing Finn Balor if he's in attendance tonight. But I wouldn't doubt that Edge is somewhere nearby, maybe watching this match ringside or whatnot from the back, watching this match closely to see who wins. Because we do know that he has that opportunity to go to WrestleMania. Any champion of his choosing, he said that he is ready to work. Or when he came back, he said he wants to work with NXT talent. He wants to put over talent. He wants to work with NXT. So this is a possibility. I don't think it's going to go that way, but there always is that chance. Finn Balor or Pete Dunne versus Edge for the NXT Championship at WrestleMania. This match is going to be probably one of the best matches we've had across the board this year thus far. I think Pete Dunne is going to come very, very close. You're going to see bruises. You're going to see blood. You're going to see tears, blood, whatever you want to call it. You're going to see everything thrown in the ring tonight. But ultimately, it's going to be Finn Balor. I believe Finn Balor will be retaining his NXT Championship tonight. And I think he's going to be defending that title WrestleMania weekend, either at a TakeOver or at the WrestleMania card. There has been speculation that maybe they're putting an NXT Championship match on WrestleMania card one of the two nights. We don't know if that's for sure going to happen. But if it is, I think Finn Balor is the best choice to hold that title going into that show. I think he's a bigger draw than Pete Dunne. A lot of WWE fans who don't watch NXT or who are not necessarily familiar with NXT, they know Finn Balor from his days on Raw and SmackDown, holding championships, countless championships. I don't think they're necessarily as familiar with Pete Dunne. So I think that going into WrestleMania weekend, which is more of a mainstream wrestling event, I think that they have to have Finn Balor defend that championship. And if he does defend that championship on that weekend, I think it will probably be against Karrion Kross, and that's where we see Karrion Kross take back the NXT championship. Finn Balor, Karrion Kross, WrestleMania weekend, either at a TakeOver or one of the two nights of WrestleMania. Maybe I'm getting too ahead of myself here, but tonight's main event, NXT championship, Finn Balor defends against Pete Dunne. I am predicting Finn Balor to retain his title. So once again, when we start from the bottom of the card, we're going to go all the way back up to where we just were. The finals for the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, the women's edition, I think Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez are going to win the finals. I think the North American Championship match between Kushida and Johnny Gargano, I think Johnny Gargano will successfully defend his North American Championship. I think the men's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic finals, I think we're going to see for the second time in a row this tag team in the finals. I think they're going to get it done tonight. The Grizzled Young Veterans taking home the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic Cup in their second attempt. I think Io Shirai in the triple threat match for the NXT Women's Championship. Io Shirai defending against Toni Storm, Mercedes Martinez. I think Io Shirai will successfully defend her NXT Women's Championship. And in the main event, the NXT Championship, Finn Balor defending against Pete Dunne. I think we're going to see Finn Balor successfully defend his NXT Championship. A lot of implications tonight. I think the next takeover after this is either WrestleMania weekend or at the actual WrestleMania event. So huge implications for the winners tonight. Kind of foreshadowing as to where they're going to go. There's a lot of things to look forward to on this card. WWE bringing back another classic pay-per-view event, that being Vengeance, adding Vengeance Day to kind of go along the lines of Valentine's Day. Like I said at the beginning of the show, happy Valentine's Day to all the beautiful couples out there. If you're single, happy Singles Awareness Day. And remember to get your 50% off candy tomorrow, all your pharmacy places or anywhere that you can get candy, 50% off everywhere. This night is going to be one of the best takeovers. And I think I say that for every takeover, because every takeover that we have just gets better and better and better. And that is the style, the great style of NXT. They just get better and better and better. I think tonight is going to be, hands down, one of the most entertaining, exciting nights we've had thus far in WWE in 2021. And we already had a couple of those this year. So that says a lot for the talent and the matches we have on this card. If you enjoyed this pre-show and you want to see if my predictions are true or if they do come true, you can check another show of mine out after the pay-per-view concludes tonight. I'll be right back here doing the exact same thing. Not necessarily the exact same thing, but I'll be going over the results and doing a full review of the show. It'll be the Angles, WWE NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day post-show / full review. Same style. Like I said, after the pay-per-view, I'll be here doing that as well. For those of you who have been watching this, I want to thank you for tuning in, listening to me ramble about these matches. I think tonight, like I said, is going to be phenomenal for wrestling fans all across the board. If you're not necessarily a fan of NXT, but for everybody, tonight is going to be a fun night. It's TakeOver, baby. I'm excited. I hope you are too. Like I said, stay tuned till after TakeOver Vengeance Day for a post-show / full review right here on YouTube, youtube.com/TheAnglePodcast. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe down below. We recently just passed 200 subscribers, and we're fully rolling already to get to that 300. So I'm excited to see what's next, and I will be in touch with you after this show, and we can talk about everything we saw. I want to thank you all for watching and listening and engaging if you did. Don't forget, like I said, like, subscribe, comment down below the match you're looking forward to and who you think is going to win that match. And like I said, post-show, full review after NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day. I will see you then. Until then, enjoy yourself. Have a great Valentine's Day. Enjoy this beautiful Sunday despite having snow outside my window. But still, enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy NXT TakeOver. And like I said, I will see you after the show again right here live.